Hello everyone, you're learning linguistics and literature with Imran. Today we will discuss semantic analysis of a sentence, which is different from traditional grammatical analysis of a sentence. Because in traditional grammatical analysis of a sentence, we have two parts of a sentence. One is subject and one is predicate. But here in semantic analysis of a sentence, we will have argument and predicator. So let's learn what is the semantic analysis of a sentence. This topic is a little bit complicated and technical, so you need to pay attention because there is logic. So the semantic analysis of a simple declarative sentence reveals two major semantic roles played by different subpart of sentence. So these are the role of predicator and the roles of arguments played by the referring expression. So the role of arguments, they are actually referring expression, and the role of predicator is actually predicate. But here the concept of predicate and predicator is different than traditional grammar, and here like the role of argument is also different from traditional grammatical analysis of subject. But you should keep in mind, you can say that argument is just like a subject and predicate or predicator is just like a verb in traditional grammatical analysis. But here our focus is not traditional grammatical analysis. We will focus or we will analyze a sentence semantically. So let's learn in detail semantic analysis of a sentence. Let's learn predicator and arguments with examples. Here we have a sentence, Leila is Afghan. So this sentence has two parts. One is Leila and one is Afghan. So Leila is argument here and Afghan is a predicator here, right? So I told you that argument is actually a referring expression and predicator shows a process or a state of something or someone. So you can see here that Afghan is a predicator, it's an adjective. And predicator can be an adjective, it can be a noun, or it can be a verb, or it can be preposition. And argument, it is most of the time noun. So you can see Leila. So argument is a referring expression or it plays the role of a referring expression. And here we have a predicator, right? It rolls the role of predicate. Another example, Ali arrested Ahmad. In this sentence, we have two arguments. One is Ahmad and one is Ali, because both are referring expression. And here we have arrested, which is a predicator, right? So this word, it plays the role of predicator, right? And it's a process, activity. You can see here that arrest is a predicator and we have two arguments. One is Ali and one is Ahmad. Third example, Leila took Hassan to Rio. So we have predicator here, that is take, the verb. And we have here three arguments. One is Leila, one is Hassan, and one is Rio. Because Rio is also referring expression, Hassan is also referring expression, and Leila is also a referring expression. While took is not a referring expression, it has a sense meaning, right? Practice. In the following sentences indicate the predicators and arguments as in the above example, as we just discussed some example. Dennis is a manners. So you can see here this sentence has two parts. So what is argument? So Dennis is an argument here. In this sentence we have one argument, that is Dennis. And we have one predicator, that is manners, which is an adjective. You might ask about the verb to be. So the to be verb, if in semantic, it does not add much meaning. If it is not here, still the concept will be given by these two words, Danus and Manus, right? So that's why we cannot include is in a predicator or predicate. Next example, Fred show John his BMW. So how many arguments are there? One is Fred, it's a referring expression, argument. One is Jane, is also a referring expression, argument. And one is his BMW. So we have here three arguments, and here we have one predicator, right? One predicator and three arguments. 3. Donald is proud of his family. So how many arguments do we have? One is Donald, which is a referring expression, and one is his family. So we have two arguments here, and we have one predicator, that is proud adjective, or you can call it proud of, right, if you take it two words. Fourth example, the hospital is outside the city. So how many arguments do we have? One is the hospital, it's a referring expression. One is the city, it's also a referring expression. So then what is left? That is outside, right? Which is a preposition. Fine. So here we have one predicate. Now let's define what is a predicate. A predicate is any word or sequence of words. So it can be a word or it can be sequence of words, which in a given single sense can function as the predicator of a sentence. So what is important here? That all the time a predicate will have a single sense in a sentence. Sometimes we have like 2 or 3 senses of a word, but a predicator will all the time give a single sense. If it doesn't give a single sense, we cannot use word as a predicator. So this definition has 2 parts then, that a predicator can be a word or a sequence of words. And second, that it will give a single sense, because we have certain words like bank. Bank can have 3 or 4 senses, different senses. Or the word man can have 2 or 3, 4 senses. Or the word head can have 2, 3, 4, 5 senses, right? So a word can have several senses. But when we use a predicator in a sentence, so all the time it will give a single sense. That it is clear. It's not ambiguous. Because most of the time we have a word, when we use in a sentence, it becomes ambiguous, right? So ambiguity should not be there. Some practice here. Are the following predicates? Dusty. Yes, it can be used as a predicate because it's not a referring expression. Drink. Yes, predicate. Woman. Yes, predicate. When we say that a woman can do it, so we don't have a particular woman in mind. So woman can be used as a predicate. You, no, you cannot be used as a predicate, because when I say that you are a good teacher or you are busy, so I am referring to you. So you cannot be used as a predicate. Fred, no, it cannot be used as a predicate because Fred is the name of a particular person. And about, yes, it can be used as a predicate because it is a preposition. So dusty, drink, woman, and about are predicate, or they can be used as predicates, while Fred and you, they are not predicate, they are referring expression, or you can also call them arguments when you analyze a sentence semantically. Comment. The definition of predicate above contains 2 parenthesized conditions. So here we define what is a predicate. So it has 2 parenthesized conditions. So the first are a sequence of words is intended to take care of example like wait for. So it might be a single word, a predicate might be a single word or a sequence of words, like wait for is a sequence of words, or in front of is also a sequence of words. which are longer than one word, but which it seems sensible to analyze as single predicates. So we will analyze wait for or in front of, or we will deal them as a single predicate, not like one or two or three. So then we can say that a predicate can be a single or more than single word, okay, sequence of words. But when it is more than single word or a sequence of words, we will deal them as a single predicate. The second parenthesized condition in a given single sense. A predicate will all the time give a single sense, not more than one sense, is more important and illustrate a degree of abstractness in the notion of a predicate. A word, as we use the term, can be ambiguous when a word has more than one sense. Can have more than one sense, like we have a word bank, it has more than one sense, or we have a word had, it has more than one sense. But we use predicate in a way which does not allow a predicate to be ambiguous, because if a word gives more than one sense, then it becomes ambiguous. We cannot use it then as a predicator. So a predicate can have only one sense. Normally, the context in which we use a word will make clear what sense, what predicate we have in mind. But occasionally, we shall resort to the use of subscript on words to distinguish between different predicates, right? So we should use a word as a predicate when it gives a single sense. Example: the word bank has at least two senses. Accordingly, we might speak of the predicates bank 1 and bank 2, right? Similarly, we might distinguish between the predicates man 1 noun like human being and man 2 noun male adult human being, and man 3 transitive verb as in the crew, man, the lifeboat. So we can see here that a word can have more than one sense, but when we are using, then we can say that this predicate has this sense and this predicate has this sense, because bank has at least two senses. One is financial bank and one is river bank, right? Comment: notice that predicate and predicators are terms of quite different sorts. So these are two different terms. The term predicate identifies elements in language system. So we can say that this is predicate, this is predicate, this is predicate, this is predicate. So in the language system, we may have thousands of predicates independently of particular example sentence. So when we don't use like in a sentence, we call it predicate. Or predicates are independent from the use of sentence, right? We can say in dictionary, we can make a list from dictionary that this is a predicate, this is a predicate, this is a predicate, right? So they are independent from use of sentence. Thus, it would make sense to envisage a list of the predicate of English as included, say, in dictionary. The term predicator identifies the semantic role played by a particular word or a group of words in a particular sentence, right? So predicator, or when a predicate plays its role in a sentence, then we call it a predicator, right? So then it will have a semantic role. So the predicate, when a predicate have a semantic role in a particular sentence, right, then we call it predicator. Let me repeat once more. The term predicator identifies the semantic role played by a particular word. When a word plays a particular role in a sentence, right, we call it predicator, right? So every predicate cannot be predicator in a sentence until and unless it plays a role, right? In this way, it is similar to the grammatical term subject. One can talk of the subject, then this is the subject of a particular sentence. You can identify subject in a sentence, but it makes no sense to talk of the list of the subject of English, but you cannot say that all subjects of English, right? So then predicator is a word that is used in a sentence and it plays a semantic role. So what is the role? Like the process or the state, right, in a sentence. Similarly, one can talk of the predicator in a particular sentence but not less in predicators of English. A simple sentence only has one predicate. It's very, very important. That a simple sentence, it will have just one predicator. It will have other words which can give sense of predicates, but they will not be predicator. So although it may well contain more than one instance of predicate. In a sentence, we can have more than one instance of predicate, but there will be only one predicator, right? This is important. For example, a tall, handsome stranger entered the saloon. So in this sentence, we have only one predicator, and that is entered, because this is the most important word in this sentence, right? It is used as a predicator. So this sentence has just one predicator, enter, but the sentence also contains the word tall, handsome, stranger, and saloon, all of which are predicates and can function as predicator in other sentences. For example, John is tall, right? So here tall is used as a predicator because here it shows us what? Like the quality of someone, right? That is tall. It is adjective. Or he is handsome. So handsome here is used as a predicator. And he is a stranger. Stranger is used here as a predicator. And that Ranchkal building is a saloon. Again, here we can see that saloon here is used as a predicator. So in this sentence, right, a tall, handsome stranger, they are predicate, right? But they are not predicator. The role here played by the word enter. So that is predicator, because it tells us a process, the most important word. So we can say that in a sentence or in a simple sentence, all the time we will have one predicator and it will give us one sense also. Now on the last slide we have some practice. In which of the following sentences does the predicate male function as a predicator? Circle your choice. So we will talk about predicate male, right? So male is a predicate, but we will see that when male is used as a predicator in a sentence. First, the male gorilla at the zoo had a nasty accident yesterday, and the gorilla at the zoo is a male, and the gorilla at the zoo is male. So in the first example, the male, it's a predicate, but it is not a predicator, because we have the most important word here, and that is had. In the second, you can see that the gorilla at the zoo is a male. So in the second example, we can see that here a male is used as a predicator, right? Because the gorilla is a referring expression, the zoo is a referring expression. So what is left? A male. So here it functions as a predicator. And the gorilla at the zoo is male. Again, the gorilla is a referring expression, the zoo is a referring expression, and what is left? That is male. So that here male functions as a predicator. So in C and in B option, a male and male function as predicator. While in the first example, the male, it's a predicate, but it doesn't play the role of predicate. It's not a predicator here, right? Second example. In which of the following sentences does the predicate human function as predicator? You can see all human are mortal. In the first example, humans is a predicate, but it doesn't play the role of predicator. How? Because here we have predicator that is mortal. Fine. And the most important meaning in this sentence is given by mortal. So mortal is predicator here, while human, that is not here predicator. In the second example, Socrates was human. So Socrates is a referring expression, right? And human here is a predicate, right? And the third, these bones are human. So these bones, right, a referring expression, and human is a predicator. So in example B and C, human is used as a predicator. And in example first, human is a predicate, but it is not predicator. So here human is predicator, in C human is predicator, but not in A, human is predicator. Here we have mortal, which is a predicator, but human, you can call it a referring expression, right? So thank you so much. I hope you learn what is a predicate and what is predicator, and what is an argument, and what is the role of argument, and how a word plays the role of predicator. In the next lecture, we will talk about degree of predicates. So that was all about today's lecture. Please don't forget to subscribe and like the channel. Thank you so much. Suggestions and feedback. Thank you so much.